Good morning. Coming at you late today. Guess I slept in, which is all right. My wife got up at 3. I didn't even hear her get up, so that's good. Might be that new pillow I got. It seems like I'm deeper in sleep, aka oblivion, while you're sleeping. It's crazy. But since I got that pillow, it's been comfortable on my neck and head, which is really good, giving me good sleep. All right, we're going to continue with 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 21 in the Concordant Commentary. The phrase, the Lord's Supper, is misleading. Remember in church when they did that? They taught it. They practiced it. They passed around these great big things of little, what was it, Welch's grape juice and little chunks of bread, considering that the Lord's dinner. Well, that was a bunch of bullshit. It's misleading. Supper denotes an evening meal. But the word here employed has no such significance, though its first observance was at night. The word denotes the principal meal of the day, just as the word dinner does with us, without any reference to the time when it is eaten. The Corinthians brought their own dinners and ate them in the ecclesia. This custom was not approved by the apostle. He would have them eat at home. The fact that the apostle received a special revelation after his severance from the rest concerning the Lord's dinner shows that it is in harmony with and part of the new system of truth with which he was entrusted. It is in contrast with baptism, which he never received from Christ, our Apostle Paul. He was thankful that he had been baptized but few of the Corinthians. I think he baptized like 2 people in the scriptures, it says. The Lord's dinner, however, he had given over to them pursuant to the special revelation which he had received. It was to be observed till he should be coming. It is often called an ordinance, Authorized Version, Ephesians 2:15 and Colossians 2:14. But this refers rather to the decrees issued by James, Acts chapter 15, verse 20, and chapter 16, verse 4, which were hostile to us and were taken away by that stake, Colossians 2:14. That Roman pole. I don't even like to say the word cross anymore. I know it's put in here. In the Concordant version, they use the word cross. I hate using that word. It was a pale. It was a stake. It was a Roman pole that Christ was crucified on. These were given by James, whereas the Lord's dinner was accepted by Paul from the Lord himself after his severance from the other circumcision apostles. Acts chapter 13, verse 2, to give to the nations to whom he was sent. The word remembrance, quote unquote, fails to give the full force of the Greek word here used. It is a strengthened form of the usual term for remembrance, denoting a voluntary and sustained effort. Hence, we render it recollection. Not remembrance, but recollection. In recollection of Christ. Not remembrance, but recollection. The manner in which the Corinthians partook of the Lord's dinner was not in keeping with the august solemnity befitting such a sacred recollection. The powers of the kingdom were still present among them, and led to the judgment of those who had offended. Some suffered from illness, and some even died. Even thus, the apostle explains, it is that such should not be condemned with the world. The disciple, the discipline of the Lord is always salutary, even though it may seem most severe. So that's good. When it explains the Lord's dinner, well, that was an observance for the apostles, the 12, not for our apostle. Our apostle Paul had a different message, different evangel. He brought it to the nations, and he received it directly from the risen Christ. So that's where it comes from. All these observances and traditions in the church are false and phony baloney. So if you're still partaking in the Lord's dinner at a church, well, I'm going to tell you, it's useless. It avails nothing. What we have is the Spirit of God. What Paul brought was the evangel to the nations. So that tradition, that observance in Corinth was done away with. So with that, I will say grace and peace. Have a wonderful Tuesday. We will see you tomorrow.